49ers running 21 personnel isn't anything new. That's two backs, one tight end, and two wide receivers. But the recent success that they've had out of this personnel has helped dub the moniker the Death lineup, which referenced the Warriors lineup with Steph, Clay, Iggy, KD, and Draymond. So the 49ers had this lineup on the field, their peak 21 personnel. That's Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk. When they were on the field together against the Seahawks for 17 plays, they amassed 261 yards. So that's over 15 yards per play. And when you think about 21 personnel, common sense would tell you you have a traditional I formation. But Kyle Shanahan has been anything but traditional since Christian McCaffrey has been on board. And as you can see from these first 4 plays, they ran 21 personnel, but it's all out of different formations. You have 3 wide receivers to the right sometimes. On the next play, you're going to see Deebo Samuel lined up in the backfield. We're going to get to Christian McCaffrey lined up as a freaking tight end. So yeah, Kyle Shanahan, he's more like a mad scientist with the creativity that he's had with this lineup on the field. So before the 49ers acquired Christian McCaffrey, they were only dropping back to throw the ball 34 times when they were using 21 personnel. And that was for the first 7 weeks of the season. And they ran it 62 times. Since McCaffrey landed in the Bay Area, that number up to 110 dropbacks out of 21 personnel compared to 132 rushing attempts. As you can see right here, the formations, the versatility. When you put Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk to one side, naturally the defense is going to overload itself. Now you get pre-snap motion, and now it's Kittle and Ayuk. And then, of course, having a player like Trent Williams doesn't hurt. But they're able to set up the blocks, Deebo, McCaffrey, the space both of those players create, the speed from everybody. We're going to talk about that and why the nickname Death Lineup is pretty fitting. That Kyle Shanahan has basically flirted with using, but hasn't used a ton of it, is when we have, so it's still, technically this isn't 21 personnel. So you have Brandon Ayuk, you have Deebo Samuel, and you have Juwan Jennings. So that's 3 wide receivers and then 1 tight end. That's 11 personnel. But we know number 19 is essentially a pseudo running back. When both of these guys are in the backfield, the defense has to treat them as running backs. So 21 personnel, quote unquote, and it's pony personnel. I think we're going to see more of that against Dallas and using Christian McCaffrey and Deebo both in the backfield, both as weapons. So let's start the play over here and just kind of show you how this formation messes with the defense. And of course, it helps to have good players all over the place. That's going to be the case with every 49er breakdown still. So to the top of the screen, you have Kittle and Juwan Jennings, so 2 of your best blockers. And the Seahawks, as you can see, so it's 2-on-2 to the top of the screen. By using that motion there, so Deebo's going to go behind the quarterback. Now it's 3-on-3 with Deebo. And you're essentially turning it into a track meet with number 10 right there. He has to beat Deebo to the sideline. That's not going to happen. And of course, he's able to break tackles because 19 does that when the ball's in his hands. But just gives you an idea of how difficult it is to stop this team when they're in this personnel. So one of the big reasons that this type of personnel works is because the defense has to stay in their heavy packages. The Seahawks don't here because, again, it's 11 personnel, but there are so many plays where the 49ers are able to get over on the Seahawks because they're in their base packages. I still don't feel like we talk enough about the running game here. And Christian McCaffrey on this play had, I believe, the 5th fastest time or 5th fastest speed of the wild card weekend. So this is his long, I believe it was 68-yard rush. So here we go. Again, 21 personnel. And when you have Kyle Juszczyk and then Kittle's going to come across the formation in motion before the snap. But the Seahawks are in their base front. So they have 3 guys inside and they have 2 linebackers who end up standing up. He has to flex out a little bit because Kyle Juszczyk's flexed out, but most of the time they're they're on the outside shoulder of the tackle with 2 linebackers. So this alignment right here, well, let's talk about how that helps the run play. So it's going to be a run to the left, and as you can see, there's Kittle coming across the formation. It ends up being just a wide zone play to the left. Watch Juice right here. So he's going to bluff like he's blocking this player, and he's going to crack down and get this, based on this alignment, it's going to give him a much better angle to cut this linebacker off. More often than not, right, when you're thinking 21 personnel, you're thinking 2-back I formation. So Juice would have to come from this track, and hopefully he beats the linebacker and is able to seal him. So from this alignment, it's just way easier, and he's able to take care of business. So boom, 57 taken care of. Okay, now since it's an outside run, you're going to have to account for this player. How did the 49ers do that? He is left with Trent Williams running full speed at him. That's not going to bode well. So 51, the edge defender, he's taken care of. Now you have the force defender, right? The force defender means this is the guy who is responsible for anything underneath here. His primary job is to take care of the run, be the force defender, force it back to the inside. That does not happen because 85 does his job. So we have 3 guys taken care of. Now, how do long runs happen in the NFL? Your wide receivers, your perimeter wide receivers have to block. So Brandon Ayuk to the bottom of the screen here, he just works up and blocks Quandre Diggs. Quandre Diggs doesn't really do a good job of engaging, which just makes Ayuk's job easier. And that's how McCaffrey goes untouched 60 yards down the field. Every game, it feels like the 49ers have just incredible blocking on the perimeter. They get their guys to buy in, and Kyle Shanahan talked about that the other day and said the difference between their best players and other teams' best players are their guys try to block. Their guys are very good at blocking, and I mean, you can just see that running lane right there just says it all. So every game, right, 40-yard, 50-yard, 60-yard plays, you see Ayuk still getting into it right there. You cannot substitute that type of effort, and it's just the mindset that they have. Another way that Shanahan's, bucking the traditional trend of 21 personnel is he's not using his running back just to run the ball. He's not using his wide receivers just to catch passes. This guy right here has played every position but quarterback. He's played tight end on both sides. He's played slot receiver on both sides, out wide on both sides, even running back, fullback, obviously. So we know that Deebo Samuel lines up in the backfield. We know that Christian McCaffrey is an effective wide receiver. And of course, this is their red zone threat. So everybody is a threat every time they're on the field. That does not happen with most teams when they use any of their 5 eligibles, let alone out of 21 personnel. So here's just a simple backside slant. The 49ers often, they're going to run their wide zone or their toss. So here we go, the pre-snap motion. You're going to see Kyle Juszczyk motion out to the left. And then, as you can see, Purdy's killing the play, going to a look that he likes. He knows that if I fake this run to the left, I'm going to get everybody flowing that way. And that's what an effective running game does. When people talk about, running game is independent of success when it comes to play action. Getting the defense to overreact to your looks is effective. Like, that's what you want. So he throws a second window here to Christian McCaffrey on a little backside slant. They call it a dart. Easy pitch and catch. Helps to have a running back that can catch, but the design is there. Good job by Purdy, obviously waiting for the second window to open up. It also helps when you have time. But I mean, the versatility that they have, the weapons that they have, that's why we're seeing the scoreboard start with a 3 and the 4. 30s, 40s, just every week, essentially since Brock Purdy took over. And it's because of plays like this. What do you think goes through the defense's head when they see Deebo in the backfield, Christian McCaffrey at tight end? That would throw me for a loop. It probably would cause them to call a timeout. I've never seen this. The 49ers haven't used McCaffrey at tight end. They don't really run a play. It ends up being quarterback sneak. But now that this is on tape, the Cowboys, perhaps the Super Bowl opponent for the 49ers, they're going to have to prepare for Christian McCaffrey lining up as a tight end. They're going to have to waste maybe 10 minutes as opposed to 10 minutes of doing literally anything else 49ers related. And that is why this play is worth it. So nothing really to take away here other than now it's on film and you have to prepare for it. This play is going to look familiar because it's the one play I keep hammering home, their little burner play, Yankee concept, where one player is going to run the coverage off. Ayuk's going to run a corner post. He's going to fake like he's running to the corner, then run a post. They're going to use Deebo as a decoy, and when Deebo is in the backfield, he is going to cause at least 1 or 2 defenders to run with him. That happens here. He gets the linebacker flowing this way. There's run action, so there is a guard pulling So the linebackers have no choice to respect that. Kyle Juszczyk's going to come up and have a little over the ball route. He's going to fit in as the check down. McCaffrey, he's going to run across the formation, and he's going to essentially be the flat defender and hold the coverage up here, while George Kittle is going to be the guy running the deep over route that Ayuk has ran all game. And he's going to be the beneficiary of just another brilliant scheme. Just the way Shanahan's able to devise this. So Seahawks are in cover 2, it looks like. That you see the cornerbacks pressed up here. And usually when the cornerback has outside leverage and is pressed up, that tells you they're in some kind of cloud underneath coverage. Both of the safeties being so wide gives you an idea of that they have the deep halves. They are in cover 2. So we know that there is going to be a large area either in the middle of the field that's going to be wide open or in between where the corners and safeties can't get to. So let's watch the play itself out. You see the linebacker right here go with Deebo Samuel. You see the cornerback has to respect Christian McCaffrey. This guy has to figure out, am I going to turn and run with this route, or am I going to go to Kyle Juszczyk here? He gets caught in no man's land. So that's what Kyle Shanahan does. He designs route concepts that put the opponent or the defender in a bind. You have to make a choice, and the minute you hesitate, you are wrong. And that's how we end up with Brock Purdy finding George Kittle wide open for a chunk gain. Easy money, right? I feel like this goes without saying. The 49ers are not able to run these type of plays without getting the protection that they do. Mike McGlinchey got a ton of flack early this season. He has been lights out for the second half of the season. But I mean, the design is as good as it gets. What I've been most impressed about with Kyle Shanahan during this time, so as we're seeing him evolve, as we are seeing him, and the 49ers essentially play this positionless football where your running back is still your go-to player, but he's not in a traditional sense, right? You're finding ways to get him the ball. Your red zone target, your best red zone threat isn't this Jamar Chase, Steph Diggs, Justin Jefferson type of wide receiver. No, it's your blocking tight end who is uber athletic, yes, but a mismatch inside of the 10-yard line. Still, I remember the numbers that I referenced at the top. They are still running the ball more out of 21 personnel. So we haven't seen Kyle Shanahan compromise his offense, his principles of leaning on the run. He's just evolving with the game. So here the 49ers are. This is still 21 personnel. Instead, Rory McLeod is in the game. Kyle Juszczyk is not in his typical fullback spot. He is a tight end. Kittle, normal spot, tight end. A wider split from the running back, but Christian McCaffrey, still a running back. Sometimes when they do this, I'm sure you guys have seen this, when McCaffrey is this wide, he will motion out and run a route. So that's what I would think. More often than not, his split would be right around here if he's going to run the ball. So, all right, so here's how the rules of power work. And I've gone over this before. They're going to have somebody come out and kick the in-man line of scrimmage. These guys are going to down block. Aaron Banks probably is going to be the wrap guy, and he's going to come up to the linebacker. And then it's up to McCaffrey just to let the big guys do the work, and he'll take care of the rest. I believe in this situation, Kyle Juszczyk is the kick guy, and that just means he's kicking out the in-man line of scrimmage. Yep, so here we go. I got it backward. Banks is going to kick, and that makes sense just because he's closer to the in-man line of scrimmage. So he's going to kick out the defensive end, and then 44 is going to come across and be the wrap guy and essentially take the first threat, and that is the linebacker. He's wrapping around to the linebacker. Boom, boom. Look at that hole. That is a good-sized hole for running up the middle, right? And this is what you do when you formation the other team to death. They don't know what's coming. They have no idea what's coming based on the splits, based on how the alignment is. There's no way to guess. And even if you do know what run is coming, you probably wouldn't have guessed an inside run, an A-gap run. Again, the versatility that you can do with these type of lineups, it helps to have 23 back there, but just incredible to watch, really. Again, Kyle Shanahan's not reinventing the wheel. This, again, 21 personnel. We have Kyle Juszczyk this time as the outside receiver, Brandon Ayuk as the slot receiver, George Kittle as a tight end. So you have 3 receivers to one side, but you also have Christian McCaffrey lined up to that side. So now you have 4 players to the strong side of the formation. As a defense, you have no choice but to overload your side, right, to that side of the ball. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is that going to do? That means to the backside of the formation, now I have Deebo Samuel, All Pro 2021, against a rookie cornerback who's a very good player, but he's still a rookie cornerback. By lining up 3 strong, there's no underneath defender. More often than not, let's say Ayuk was to this side, this player or this player would have to be right here. So there would be an underneath threat, but Purdy doesn't have to worry about that. And now we get ourselves an easy pitch and catch, backside slant, and they are lucky that that safety makes that tackle, because we've seen number 19 break that, and it's off to the races. But the formation, again, gets the 49ers in the right spot. Brock Purdy just has to play point guard, right? He just has to distribute to the open guy. Shanahan makes life easy on you. And they're able to do this again because the Seahawks are in a heavy personnel package. They have a third linebacker on the field. And the third linebacker on the field just means that linebacker is either responsible for 85, 23, or God forbid, 11 or 19.